All right, what's happening, people? League of Speed here. We're going to talk about a little axle extraction, a little axle polishing tonight. Actually, going to make axle polishing. Will turn over into episode 2. It'll be just about that because I got some stuff that I need to talk about. Mainline axles and nickel-plated axles, because there's a big difference about how you can prepare them for a race, polishing wise, and whatever. And of course, your mainline axles are not going to have, the FTEs on them, the OH. Well, they can have OH5s on them, but they may not be nickel plated in how they go. But anyway, we're going to get into this right quick. We're going to start with the metal chassis here. This is a fire eater. Well, it was a fire eater. That one, I've already got that on a build. Anyway, metal chassis, you're going to have either the tabs on this one is here and here. And then some are going to be right here in the middle. And nickel and metal chassis can be really easy to do, or they can frustrate the hell out of you, and you work on them for 30 or 45 minutes, and you put them down, and then you start on them again tomorrow. So that is how metal chassis go. But anyway, my favorite tool for metal chassis is actually this speed ball here, and the blade is broken right now, and I haven't been able to go to Michael's due to this COVID-19 stuff and get me another blade here. But usually it's got a tip on it right here, and it's super thin, and these things are much stronger than you think they are. And you can work that. Let me get this up here close. You can work that into these tabs that hold the axle in there. And of course, either with a speed ball or with a flathead, you give it that twist. You want to pry those prongs apart. All right, I got Speed Force looking. What you say, Speed Force?
I'm ordering pizza.
Speed Force is ordering pizza. All right, good to know. All right.
Why are you standing here?
That's why she's standing there. All right, good deal. Back to the thing. All right, we got, but anyway, we got these tabs here, and this is my favorite tool for it. It's just thin, and these blades are stronger than you think they are, and when it's got the tip on it, it's really good. But this one here can probably be gotten with a thin little flat head like this. Let's get in here and try this one right here. See, that one, that fits in there already. Let's see, we got it a little bit. Oh yeah, got that one already. This one's a little closer right here. That's not going to quite fit in there. This right here, and that's thin. And see, I could grind that down thinner, but I can get these blades. And what I like about this speed ball is, like I said, this blade is stronger than you give it credit for, and it's got this big, so you can get a hold of that handle. You know what I mean? So let's get this right going right here now. See, that fits in there better. I think we got enough to get this in here now. Like that. And then back. Let's see if we can get it out of there. No, that side's free. That side don't want to come out yet. All right. We're going to give it a little more thing. Red Pill, my brother in Speed, Red Pill Racing, he did his first video the other night. I want to shout out to him. That was fun. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I recommend everybody head on over to Red Pill Racing on YouTube and watch his mod video. And he's got a similar technique that I do. Basically what you want to do is you just want to make sure when you got to bear it down a little more, you keep your axles can't sit on anything because you don't want to build them. So I use this thing here, and I put it on these popsicle sticks like that, and I can press down, and then I'll get in there where I need to, and now I can go back forth a little bit. Let's see if we can get it out of there. Oh man, that's so close. All right, one more time. All right. All right. Actually, I got to pick this thing up. There we go. But because I don't need to bear it down as much anymore, I might have it. Man, that thing is hanging on by a thread. If I won't filming this for y'all guys, that thing would have popped right out of there. I'm always Murphy's Law here. See if I can get that. That thing is dancing like a doggone ballerina. All right, hold on.
We're in the mood. It's
Excuse Speed Force in the background there. Being redonkulous. Alright. Well, hold on just a minute. Let me look at this thing here. Alright. I'm going to tell y'all something too, but when it comes to these things here, let me hold on. See, it's something that you think it should pop, so hold on just a minute. Reach over here, grab it. Alright, here we go. Probably got all my stuff messed up now. Don't y'all get sick for all that shaking. Lady Speed's coming to check me out. I'm back on balance, honey.
Yeah.
There we go. Alright.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, when it gets like that and it's so close, what I do is I take something like this and I take a look. And you find out what's holding it off and you can see it. And I see it now. This little front prong here looks like an arrow and it's just barely pinching the axle in there. That's why it won't come out. Y'all getting the whole family effect tonight. I actually had to start this thing over again because Speedzilla didn't go with the flow. Yep, that's you. Speedzilla's her. Say hey, everybody, Speedzilla.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Talking trash?
She is the worst victim of the family from this COVID-19 stuff. She was a freshman at NC State. And she had to finish up spring break from now and at home, and so anybody's going to college, she got the raw end of this deal. So we feel for her right there.
Also had to celebrate my 19th birthday in my room.
19th birthday in her. Well, she chose to celebrate in the room. She didn't have to. All right, but that's my oldest. That's Speedzilla.
Hello, everyone. Have a wonderful night, and I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy.
There you go. That's Speedzilla chiming in. All right. You know what? This thing is barely hanging on by threads. You can see that. But anyway, you get the idea. You got to work these tabs. And you use this to, take a peek at them. Can y'all see that? All right, you take a peek at it. You can see what you got to work on. And this is, like I said, this is hanging on by thread. So I'll get that out later. Because I don't want to mess that axle up. Let me put this over here in case we need it again. All right, let me do this here. Hold on. All right. Now, we've got, and then you've got, this is actually a color shifter. It was a Evo. Everybody loves the Evos. This is the Evo. And as you can see, this one's got the 3 tabs. And I'm going to tell you something about these metal things. Like I said, sometimes you got to put them down and come back the next day to get them out because you get frustrated. And sometimes you just got to use a stick of dynamite and just forget about it. Sometimes, you can take a grinder and grind these off. I know MDG Racing, one of the fastest in the business, he likes to take a grinder and grind these off. And I could do that. But when I'm sitting here at the, building, I kind of like to mess with them, a little bit. I don't want to always be super fast. But anyway, you can also grind these off. But I have tried that before, grinding them off. And I'm heavy-handed, which I've told y'all before in the past. And yeah, I ground them off all right, but I also ground the axle in too. So I try to, be a little careful on that. Let me get this out of the way here. All right. But this is the one in the middle here, and it's... well, yeah, we can get this flathead in there. And you just twist that. And twist that. I'd love to see y'all see one come out here tonight. It was kind of like that time I tried to tell y'all how to drill them apart. Them rivets wouldn't come off because I tried to do that Carrera. Let's see what we got here. Oh, boing. There we go. There we go. It's free. This is a nickel-plated axle with 10 spokes. Came off a Color Shifter Evo. Same one I used to build Yellow Fever here. 2018 DCR Mountain Rally Challenge Champion. 3rd place last year. Did break the 14-second barrier on the Mountain Rally chassis. But yeah, but this comes from a This comes from that. That's that 10 spoke. It's nickel plated. Good axle. That wheel right there is going to need a little work. We're going to do a wheel. Oh, see there? That lets me know that if this thing is properly balanced, and a little graphite, a little sanding. Yeah, I broke my rule. What I didn't do, I didn't sand the wheels before I took them out of here. That's because we're doing axle extraction, so we're going to give me a pass. But anyway, that's not bad. What I found in the color shifters, we're going to do a little shop talk here. Of course, color shifters are plastic up top. They change colors when you touch them or put them in the water. It's cute for kids and everything. And they're color shifters that are nickel plated, so the kids can take them in the bathtub, and the nickel plated axle won't rust. But anyway, when you're looking at color shifters, what I have found in my experience is that the OH5s, this is a color shifter going in a Charger for Charger Summer. Those OH5s, I mean, that's basically, that thing's still spinning. Okay. Still spinning. This is a color shifter OH5, and that's like a modern day, Gen 1 FTE. The best color shifter axles that I think there are of course, OH5s. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what's in the Vampira. But they made the color shifter Vampira a couple years ago. And, wait a minute. But anyway, one of the good axles is this 10 spoke here. That's a good one. So the OH5s and the color shifters, the 10 spokes like this. And then I made this for the Dixie Grand Prix last year. It was a 1969 Shelby turbine. It would still roll, but it wasn't going to win the race. And for the life of me, I'm sorry right now, I'm drawing a blank what these wheels are. They may be J5s. I think they're J5s. I wish MDG was here. He'd tell me exactly what they are. But I think they're J5s. And these came out of a color shifter Vampira. And they are just butter. Pure tea damn butter. Just keeps on. Yep. So I think those are J5s. So when you're doing color shifters, look for OH5s of any spoke color. 10 spoke like this. That's a good one. And then these, I think these are J5s. If you can get a look at that, that's what it is. I think those are J5s. And that's just smooth. Good wheels. Good wheels. All right. Now, of course, if you're going to be doing axles long enough, you're going to eventually have your plastic chassis here. This is a lot easier. Most of the time, you can just put the thing underneath them right here and just go like this. Pop them up on each end. They're just plastic tabs opposed to those, the metal ones. And you just... See, most of the time I wouldn't try to be keeping this in focus. I'd be bearing down so I'd have this thing out already. But anyway, these tabs are up. And if I just can get this thing in here a little bit, I can get that out. I don't like to force them because if you force them, you're bending. There we go. I think I got it. Well, dag nabbit. If I wasn't filming this thing would be popping right out. Murphy's Law. There it goes. All right. But when you're doing, when you take them out of a plastic chassis, those things are still pretty solid. I just kind of leave them in there because that JB weld, when you reset your axles, it'll wrap around there and to give you a good hold. And we'll get into this a later day about setting axles. We're not going to do setting axles today. But something I'll go back to when we talk about setting axles is you take something with a sharp edge and you just scratch in that axle channel. Rough it up a little bit. And then you can also... we'll get that in another episode. But there's some stuff... Whoop, I'm sorry. Whole world shaking, boys. All right. So we got these axles out. And that's how you get those out. Like I said, we've done... As you can see, the metal's a little more involved than the plastic. Plastic didn't take no time. Axles are out. But the metal takes a little longer, a little bit more time. You got the prongs here in the middle, 1, 2, and 3. like that. And then you've got the color shifters that we did, which we're going to get this out later. But it's got, you see, proof is in the pudding. I got these out. And it's almost, like I said, it's almost ready to go. It almost come out on its own. And this is a good set of wheels. I'll put this in something. Matter of fact, I've got these in I got the front set of axles in another build, and I'll probably just rejoin these later. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to take that out because I'm going to sand these, and before I take them out. That's a good. That ain't had nothing done to it yet. No polishing, no graphite, and it's rubbing against the hub. As you can see, that is a good wheel. And I said that's a modern day FTE too. It's a OH5. It's got the red around it. It's just red rim. The spokes are still black. That's pretty cool about one of these. But that's a modern day Gen 1 FTE. This is an actual 2005 2006 FTE, and you can see it's the same wheel. This is just that FTE, definite bronze, copper color, whatever you want to call it, and the nickel-plated axle. And this is the OH5 out of a color shifter, which is just like these. And that's a modern day FTE. So, don't fret if you can't find FTEs and you don't want to pay the exorbitant prices, some of these guys want you to pay for them. You can get, you can get a modern day FTE right there. It's an OH5 and it's a nickel plated axle. So that's what that is. All right, guys, that's damn axle extraction right there. We're gonna head on over to another station right now. And we're gonna do a little talk about a little axle polishing. So get that out of the way so y'all can see what I do. And we'll get into more axle polishing and stuff later on. I kind of want to focus on nickel-plated axles tonight instead of mainline axles, because mainline axles are a completely different animal. You can do so much more to a mainline axle like this. I mean, you can wet sand it. I mean, you can sand the axle. You can sand the axle here. Wet sand it, file it. You can check the hub up here. Look at it with your magnifying glass, check out things. And you can do a ton of more work on a mainline axle than you can a nickel-plated axle. A nickel-plated axle, you got to make sure you got good wheels that spin, and then you got to make sure you remove the axle without damaging the axle. But most nickel-plated axles, especially FTEs back in the day, are in a plastic chassis, so they're pretty easy. But all your color shifters are going to be in metal. So it's just one thing about modern day color shifters. Yes, you can get what's equivalent to a Gen 1 FTE, but they're all in metal chassis, so they're a little more challenging to get out. But yeah, a mainline axle you can just manipulate, and we'll get into this more when we talk about mainline axles, about what you can do to them. But just know right now, before we go any further, that there's so much more prep work and stuff you can do to a mainline axle. And like I said last episode, don't fall in love with nickel plated. I do, because it's just my thing, but I've built plenty fast cars that have won trophies without nickel plated axles. And so they're not a necessity. It's just, it's just something I like. Plus, I just like the look of the OH5 FTE with the copper color on it. I think it's a nice wheel. But anyway, we'll get into nickel-plated axles more later, because sometimes they do have more. Like this one right here, I've not done anything to it, and it's got stuff right there that would definitely have to be sanded out, buffed out, and then polished. Whereas most of your nickel-plated axles are, the wheels got to spin good, and then you can polish them, and that's about it. Other than that, if they're not good, they're not good. You can't use them. But anyway, you can manipulate a mainline axle much more. And if this is that chassis we did the wheel sanding on, and that back axle is not bad, actually. Not too bad for a mainline. See, I could work with this, get it ready. All right. We're going to go over to the axle polishing station, and we're going to pick this back up. See you there. All All right, people, we've moved over here to the Axel Polishing Station. We're going to do a little axle polishing. We're just going to talk about nickel-plated axles tonight. We're going to get into polishing mainline axles at another time. But if I had done all the work on, well, I guess we don't have to get into it because it's the same stuff. You do the same thing to a nickel-plated axle as you do a mainline axle. It's just what you use to polish them. A mainline axle, I would have, done all, like I said before, done all the sanding, checking it out, all this other stuff to it to make sure it's good, getting all the burrs off of it, because mainline axles are usually not nearly as good as the nickel-plated. Thing about a nickel-plated axle is it's not much of a plating on there, but it'll fill in all those little gaps and it'll smooth stuff out most of the time. Like I said, if a nickel-plated axle ain't good, then, I mean, you could treat it like a mainline axle. You could sand it and get it ready and it'd be pretty much, whatever. But anyway, most of the time, the most work you got to do is a mainline axle. And if I'm doing a mainline axle, I got so much crap on this you can't even see it. Hold on a minute. There we go. I use mothers on my mainline axles. When I do mainline axles, I use the mag and aluminum polish. And I'll just tell you right here, right now, that you should not use this on nickel-plated axles. It will actually remove the nickel plating on them. And in matter of fact, in Nero 62, let's just stop right here. Nero 62, that boy does some good work. He makes some beautiful damn cars. He turns turds into beauty queens. So yeah, if you got a chance, check out Nero 62 and watch his work. But I noticed on one of his latest videos, he talked about he's polishing his windshields with his flits here. All right, well, I'm going to get into flits here in a little bit. But anyway, if I'm doing mainline axles, I'm using mothers, and if I'm polishing, if I've sanded down a metal chassis and I'm getting that smooth and ready to go, then I'm using mothers, and I like the mothers mag and aluminum polish for metal chassis and mainline axles after you've done all the prep work to them. Because like I've said before, mainline axle, a lot more work than nickel-plated. Nickel-plated is either good, the wheel's either good on the nickel-plated axle or it ain't. And that's pretty much where the buck stops. You can find a good set of wheels. And the thing about it is you can't give up on mainline axle, because sometimes on mainline axle, you don't know if the wheel spin's worth a crap until you get the axle ready. So you could spin a wheel on an unprepared axle, and it could be just not something you would think was right. But then after you prep the axle with all the stuff on the mainline axle, you can spin that same wheel, and it's beautiful. So we'll get in that later. But anyway, we're doing nickel plated right now. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, when I do nickel plated axles, I use flits. You can polish plastic, fiberglass, and stuff like nickel-plated axles with flits, and it'll put a nice polish on those things. Well, granted, nickel-plated axle, you can't tell if you shine it up or not because they're shiny already. But anyway, this stuff is good stuff. If you're going to do nickel-plated axles, color shifters, anything, the only thing you should be polishing your axles with, if they're nickel-plated, is flits, period. You want to try mothers like that, that's fine, go ahead. You may take the nickel-plated off it. You got a mainline axle that used to be nickel-plated. So just remember that. All right. But what I usually do is I got a little station here. All right. And I got all my stuff here. I got my thing where I put my dab at. Oh, cheap old little, plastic cutlery knife I used to get it with. Got my rotary tool. Better cut that down because I did some grinding before. Yeah, the thing about a rotary tool, always remember that if you grinded before, you did some grinding before you do your nickel plated, make sure you remember that. Because if you got that sucker turned up at high RPMs and you cut it on with that polish on there, it's like, polish is gone. So you got to turn the RPMs down and cut it back on again to get your polish on there. And I caught myself, so you got to do that. But anyway, you got the heads on here, polishing heads, and you can buy them bag like this. And it lasts pretty good time. Pretty good while. They even come, most of them even come with a little, you get a little free axle in there to put the stuff on. But I already had one for this rotary tool here. But yeah, they're made out of wool. They do pretty good. You can get them made out of other things. I prefer wool. They last a little longer. The thing about wool is when you first use them, you got to kind of, put them on something. What I usually do if I got a metal chassis to polish, I'll polish them first, and then it breaks down, and because they're hard right now, and so do a metal chassis with them first. Polish your wheel hubs first, and then they're usually like golden for your axles. So when I polish nickel plated axles, or any mainline axles for that matter, and the mainline thing is you just want it to give a little bit. When it's real hard, it just it's too abrasive. So you just want to get it. You can see this one's been used a little bit. But anyway, this is what we're going to do for a nickel plated axle. All right, your cards, when you get your cars out of, no rally guy here. Always save these. If you don't save them, recycle them. You can throw them away if you want to. But anyway, we recycle them, but in their cardboard. But anyway, I save like maybe 75% of mine because I can't save 100%, but the other 25% we recycle because I go through them pretty much because I use them for a couple things. I use them for batter boards. That's my old JB Weld there. I mix it up on these. Like I said, I ain't done with this one yet. And another thing, this side here, well, not that one, but this one, you cut the strips off. And that used to be here, right there, like that. And I like to use these for this because you don't want that polish when you're polishing your axles to fly into the hub. Because a polished axle just wiped clean is one thing, but a wheel that's got some polish jammed up inside the hub, that ain't gonna do you no good. They're gonna slow you down. But anyway, this is a Porsche Carrera. I don't know if y'all remember that green Carrera we were working on a couple of episodes ago. That still ain't out of the shop. But anyway, this is a nickel-plated axle right here. We've already wheel formed, sanded. We got a little butter going on so far. A little butter going on. We ain't got no polish, no graphite yet. Pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. We wheel formed it so we know it's got the potential it needs. But anyway, get your wheels stacked down like this right here. Okay? And then you take these cards and you cut a little slit up here in the top of them with scissors or a razor blade. Then you slide that axle. And this is just how I do it. You slide that axle in there and you bend that card like this. And you bend it like that. Bend it around like that. Alright, now look at there. You think that polish can get in that wheel hub now? No way. Got that barrier now. So now we got the axle wrap. We're going to set it over here. We're going to break out our trusty dusty flits. Now, people give me a hard time about when I polish axles because it kind of looks like I'm cooking meth or something. I got glasses on and a thing on and a face mask. You got a face mask nowadays, COVID-19 and stuff. But anyway, I got my glasses and I put this sucker around my thing. You can see all the stuff that's hit right here. That's why I wear it. That stuff's flown up my nose before, and I particularly don't like that. You may be able to handle it. Like I say, I'm a big boy, but I don't like stuff flying up my nose. So I wear this right here. And of course you wear your glasses because I've got it in my eye before. That is not fun. That stuff burns like hell. You might as well put a fire ant in your eye and let him bite you. It ain't fun. So yeah, wear your glasses. You ain't got to wear that. If you don't mind stuff flying up your nose and get all over your face, you ain't got to wear it. I don't think it'll kill you. But you definitely don't want it in your eyes. So we're going to go ahead and put this on right here. All right, we got that. And I'm going to forego my damn going. It might go up my. I'm going to let it might go up my nose for you guys tonight. So anyway, here we go. All right, so what I like to do first is like to get one dab and work it into that disc like that right there. Work it in. I have no idea. The Magic of Eye movies, man. I've stopped and started this like 4 times today. So I might even beat Red Pill's record in his mod video. Red pilled my brother though. Anyway, I have no idea. This one may go over 30 minutes. And I hope I hold your attention long enough that it does. Maybe we break into 2 segments, we'll be all right. But then we got some stuff on there now. Right? Got stuff on there. We set that aside. What I like to do after that is I like to get on the end of it here. And I like to... You don't have to smear it all over the whole axle. Just where you know that the wheel's going to be. So you get a little coating on that. But that's... Alright, then we're going to crank this baby up. And I'm sitting further back than I normally do, so I'm going to try to do this right. I'm probably going to get... I don't even have my polished shirt on. I'm probably getting ready to ruin a good shirt for you guys, but that's what I do for y'all. All right, here we go. We're going to crank it up. We're going to get into it. So what you want to do with any polish, you want to see that polish turn black. Not the same color. You want to see it turn black. And you probably won't be able to see it right now, but that polish is definitely getting darker now. And then you just work it in. You don't really work it in, you kind of just polish the surface. And I don't know if y'all can see or not, but that end of that axle is nickel plated and it's black right now. And a lot of people use different things. I like quality shop towels, not, you know, you can tear these things, rumple them, tear them. You see no lint flying. They're solid. The good old shop towel. But spend the money on the good ones. My boy 9.81 Racing out there at Diecast 64, I think he uses like cut pieces of chamois cloth. And that's fine. But I know I ain't going to take time to wash it. So if I'm, you know, if you're going to throw it away, I mean, it ain't a bust on you, Robbie. But I think these things will deteriorate in a landfill quicker than a piece of leather will. So I use these old shop towels for a lot of things. And you get it on there and you buff it like so. And I hope my boy LED Racing, Joey, checks this one out. He wants to see a little axle polishing. And I usually hit it, you know, like I said, nickel plated ain't much you can do, you know. You got to hit it, but I usually hit it about twice. And so we'll put some stuff on it again. And then we'll take our head again. Make it damn messy. And we'll rub a little more on there. We love them, but you know what we're gonna say. You know what I'm gonna tell you right now, right? What I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna pause, see if y'all can say it yourself while I say it. If we ain't Will Farm by the time we get to this step right here, all this axle polishing, all this work, whether it's a nickel-plated axle or gonna be a mainline axle, it don't make a hill of beans if them wheels are subpar. Don't matter how you polish your axles. It don't matter how much weight you put in there. It don't matter what kind of showroom paint job you put on it. What you doing? You going racing or you building a shelf sitter? What you doing? Because if you build a shelf sitter and send it to the track because you think the wheels are pretty, you're going to get smoked. All right, that's all I got to say. Wheel Farm. Wheel Farm. Wheels are the key. That's where the speed lies. Everything else extrapolates out from the wheel farming. Wheels ain't good, it don't mean nothing. Got to have good wheels that spin. If you want to get into it and you're eager, then the best thing you can do before you start drilling cars apart and doing all this other, you need to buy a bunch of cars. Get you a wheel farm so you can find out. All right, here we go. We're going to do it one more time. Remember, work it slow. And you want to see it turn black, no matter if it's flits on the nickel plated or mothers on the main line. You want to see it turn black. And you only got to do is like whatever the wheel contacts. You don't have to do it to the middle. It makes no, that's just a waste of time. All right, so we're going to clean this up again. And I'm just going to do this one set. I'll finish polishing this up later. Well, it's been one of them nights, man. I got them daughters coming in, ordered pizza, coming in saying hello. I got the doggone dog outside. He's barking, wanting to come in now. Lady at Speed's watching something. When Lady Speed's watching her show, damn dog can bark till the sun comes up. She ain't gonna let him in. Anyway. All right, so we got that pretty good. I mean, that looks pretty good. We're going to buff it a little more. Like I said, my method of madness is these old, not BS shop towels now. Don't want to see no lint. Good shop towels. Professional mechanic shop towels. You can get them at AutoZone. You can get them at Walmart if you know what you're looking for, but the ones at AutoZone and dang nabbit, what's that other place called? AutoZone and drawing a blank here, but you know what I mean. Parts Wars. You can find good shop towels. Get the good ones. They don't, because lint, you don't want no lint on them axles. So you want to do all that work, get lint on them. So either use cut up chamois cloth like my boy 9.81 out in Utah does, or get shop towels like this, that good ones, don't lint. All right, so we've done it now. That's nickel plated. We haven't burnished it. It's still nice and shiny. Well, look at that. Ooh, boy. Can y'all see that? Shiny. You know that sucker's nickel plated when it does that. All right. And most of the time, you can... Yep. See when the graphite hits that thing right there? You like to see sometimes... You can tell when you got it good is if you hold it down. And that's really not wobbling. That's just dancing. The wheel's spinning. There's a difference. It's just moving along that thing like that. That's good. This side hasn't been polished yet. That's still good. Like I said, because I wheel farmed, I know this stuff's good. But you can just feel it. It's just smoother. It's just you can, because what I like to do is like to pinch it with my fingernails. Fingernails are a fantastic receptor for wheel farming. Once you get them out of the chassis and you're polishing, you can feel the difference. You can just feel the difference. I mean, you can feel it. It's just smooth. It just rolls better. But anyway, that's what I do, guys. I usually hit it like, you know, at least 2 times, maybe 3 with the flits on the nickel plated. And the thing about flits also is you can polish like my boy Nero 62. You can polish your windshields with it and buff it off. It gets them good and shiny. I paint my windshields, so I really can't. I really don't need that clear look like Nero goes for. But you can also do nickel your plastic chassis. Those can be polished too, and polished chassis is smoother than unpolished plastic. Just remember that on your chassis. And these little wheel hubs in here, right in there. Now you tell me if that has to eventually move in and bump when you got it may happen a little bit. And now that bumps an unpolished either plastic or metal chassis. Do you think it's just as smooth as a metal chassis or a plastic chassis that's been sanded and then polished? Nope, it's not. So that's another thing, man. You gotta, like I said, it all. And just remember, all this tedious stuff you're doing is to gain not a 1/10 of a second, but just a 100th of a second. The guys I race against, most of the time we're separated by 2 to 3 100ths of a second, not tenths, 100ths. So I mean, it comes down to that. We get on the same track, we're all running 2.3 something. And then you get into like the 2.34, 2.33, 2.35, that kind of thing. Most of the time when you get to running with the guys I run with, it really truly is just 1 to 200ths of a second. And I kid you not. My races don't have timers yet. I'm going to get there eventually. But you will look at the races like D64, Red Pill, MDG, the Bayou City Diecast Raceplex. All these top builders are separated by 1 to 2 100ths of a second. That's it. That's how fine. It's a razor's edge. So you got to do all that little stuff. If the extra polish gets you 1 100th of a second, or half a 100th of a second, if polishing the chassis does, I mean, it all comes into play. Proper weight, and we're going to get into all of it, man. But yeah, it really comes down to that. So just, have fun with it, man. Main thing is have fun with it, guys. Wheel farm first and foremost. Got to wheel farm. You just have to. I mean, it's like you don't have good wheels. I mean, you're kind of just, you're kind of pissing into the wind. You're going to get pee all over you. That's just how it goes. And that's the best thing I can tell you, man. We're going to go step by step. I hope that happens. We're going to get, I don't know if we'll go. If I do it, when we do mainline axles, I'm not going to come over here because y'all know I would do the same thing I just did with the flits that I would with the mothers. So what we're going to do when we do mainline axles in part 2 of this, of the axle prep, is we're going to, I guess it'll be mainline axle prep is probably what the thing will be called, because like I said, nickel plated, you get them out, make sure you got good wheels, you polish them, that's it. But mainline axles, you can do a lot more stuff with them. And that's why the crew that, that doesn't like nickel plated axles know that they can make just as good or a better axle out of mainline axles, put it in the work, and this stuff right here, a good axle polish as you can nickel plated. Once again, nickel plated is not the be all end all. It's what I like to use. That's why people call me the nickel plated cowboy. That's just what I like to use. Main thing is I just love the look of an FTE, that bronze colored at OH5. I just like it. So that's what I use. But yeah, I probably to my detriment, I probably don't do enough main lines but I will in the future. I've got so many I have to start. And so that's the good thing about it. I know I'll unlock speed. Because I've done it before. I've done it with a Country Club Muscle. That's a main line. That's a good running car that's run races, won a trophy. I actually won 2 races. I've done it with a Viper. MDG had a race, said no nickel plated, no FTEs. I think I put my favorite wheels and axles that aren't the FTE OH5s is the 5 dot. Love a 5 dot. That's my favorite wheel. Anyway, we'll get into next episode. We're going to get into mainline axle prep. What goes into that? We won't do the polishing because it's the same stuff here. You would just do what we did here with mothers or whatever your choice is, other than flits. Now, I will tell you something about mainline axles. There's blue steel, or no, wait a minute, maybe not blue steel, or blue something or another. Anyway, you got to do that outside. That stuff is like very chemical, and it stinks up the whole house, gets you high as a kite. So you need to use that in a well-ventilated area. I do have some of that. I will show you that. When we do the mainline axles. But you got to use it outside, but that actually puts a polymer on there. But that's a story for another day. Man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I hope this helped. Like I said, next episode we'll get into more of the mainline stuff, mainline axle prep, and then ask questions, ask stuff y'all want me to answer. Like I said, shop talk's always going to be a part of what we do each episode, and I'm going to read the YouTube comments, and I'm going to pick some stuff people ask about, and we'll do that in the next shop talk. I can't do all of them. I maybe pick 3 or 5, something like that, and when we'll bring them up next shop talk, get some talk about that going on. Because I want everybody to be fast, man. I really do. When everybody's fast, the hobby's healthy, the hobby's good. But y'all know where it starts, guys. Y'all know where it starts. How did these get in this thing right here? Because I wheel farmed. Wheel farmed first and foremost. I can't say it enough. Wheel farm. Okay? All right, guys. That's it for episode 6, and we will see you the next time. League of Speed out. Peace and speed. Next time.